It is day 5 of testimony in the Dee Warner murder trial. I'm Melissa Andrews, a crime and investigative reporter covering the murder trial of Dee Warner, who's accused of killing his wife Dee in 2021 and then welding her inside a fertilizer tank where she was found 3 years later. First up today is our 15th witness, the second of today, the deputy medical examiner for Oakland County, Dr. Patrick Cho. Dr. Cho is involved in the case because he sometimes contracts with other counties for his services, and in this case, it was Lenawee County, and that's why on August 20th of 2024, he performed the autopsy on Dee Warner. So Dr. Cho here says that it was presumed to be Dee, this body that he had, but it was not confirmed until dental records were sought. He said externally the body was enclosed in a body bag, wrapped in 2 tarps secured with duct tape, unwrapped the 2 tarps, and the legs were bound with duct tape. Her arms were bound to her torso with duct tape over her nose, mouth, and face, and there was also a red debris and sludge. She was dressed in pajama top and bottoms and underwear. She had on earrings and a very large ring. He says when the tape was removed, there were contusions on her right and left cheek, left eye, left shoulder, and a small contusion on the back of the head. Internally, there were blunt force injuries to the top and left skull, hemorrhaging, bruising on the tongue and the back of the throat. He said strangulation and multiple injuries to the face and the head caused her death. Either one independently could have caused her death as well. He was asked, was there any evidence of oxycodone in Ms. Warner's body? He said no. The prosecution says she is fairly well preserved. He says it was a sealed tank with little to no oxygen. Oxygen would speed up decomposition. The date of death is on or around April 25th, 2021. On cross-examination, which lasted just minutes, they asked him, her body condition, independent of investigation, would not give you a date, month, or a year of death. He said no. So had he not talked to investigators about this whole case, and they had they not said that she disappeared on April 25th, 2021, he said there's no way I would have been able to tell that. So that's strictly investigatory and not based on the medical findings of the autopsy. She said you can't tell where she died. He said correct. She says there may be 2 causes of death, strangulation and blunt force trauma, both contributed. He said yes, but one could have independently caused the death. They talked about bodily fluid, brain bleed, rigor mortis. I don't know if that was supposed to score anything. I didn't pick up on anything relevant there. I could be wrong. I think where they scored some big points, though, was with her poking holes in whether or not this was pajamas or not. So all of Dee's friends and family have always said Dee would never go anywhere in pajamas, so she wouldn't have just taken off. She was found in pajamas, but then the defense says, pajamas or sweatsuit. He's saying sweatsuit or pajamas. So they pick up on that and say, you can't tell what type of clothing it is. Look at these pictures. And so he does, and he says, yeah, I can't tell, specifically that it's pajamas. She said, you didn't do the toxicology testing yourself. He said, no, we sent it off. She said, you don't know who the perpetrator was, correct? And he said, correct. There was a juror question, is it possible contusions can be from removing the body after death? And that was no, because contusions form due to reaction when we have an injury. Your heart is beating, causing the blood because you're alive at the time. Another question was, can you tell if the body was killed inside or outside? He said no. I thought that the time it took to question a medical examiner was very quick. And I don't know if that's just me or if you guys picked up on that. The cross-examination was just minutes. I don't know whether to glean anything from that. Does that mean it was more successful for one side or the other, that they only needed to take minutes? Does it mean it's a slam dunk? Does it mean something else for the defense, it's hard to tell, but it's the quickest examination of a medical examiner I've ever seen. One more thing, something about the dynamic here this afternoon. So the judge issued a protective order over these autopsy photos so media couldn't show them. None of us were going to show them anyway, but for some reason the parties felt the need, which is fine. So the jury's, obviously this is the jury box. They set up these two monitors in front of them instead of where they had been broadcasting over on this side of the wall. So all of Dale Warner's team and Dale Warner go and stand right here on this side of the wall, all along this way, creating basically a wall from the media or the public seeing these exhibits. And then, that just by space alone, this creates such a small area. Dale Warner standing really on the other side of this wood from the jury and standing above them. So it was just an interesting few minutes with that as well.